coming up on At Your Leisure.
I'm Chad Booth, and 6 years ago, this place was in flames. What does Panguitch Lake look like for recreation today? We'll find out.
And I'm Reece Stein. Coming up, a visit to Utah's other Red Canyon wonderland.
I'm Ryan Sprague, and we are going out to Dell, Utah to get away from society, hit some big jumps, and make some great connections on the way.
Hey everybody, welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Chad Booth. This is Danny Perkins, the legendary sheriff from Garfield County. How's that, Danny, for an introduction?
Well, thank you, Chad.
Yeah, Rhea just thinks you are like a deity of some sort. She's just that fond of you.
Well, I like Rhea too. Tell Rhea hi.
I'm making him blush. I love it. We are at a place that we haven't been in 6 years, and it didn't look anything like this when we were here. It looked like a black moonscape. We today, for At Your Leisure, are taking a look back at the Brian Head Fire and the impact it had around Panguitch. And when we were out here 6 years ago, Danny's the one that brought us up to show us all this stuff. So we thought, well, we need another tour.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you're here.
So what kind of impact has this had on recreation, the community? You know, a lot of people I hear, oh, it's fire, it's all black, we don't want to go ride there anymore. They have no concept of what happens to the local community and the landscape. What are your observations?
You know, this was a huge fire. The Brian Head Fire was a huge fire.
71,000 acres.
71,000. So a lot of people wouldn't come. We had thick smoke. There was actually ash falling, you know, around Panguitch. I have a farm like 4 miles from Panguitch. There's ash clear down the other end of the valley. So yeah, the impacts were not good. We had the cattlemen that had cattle out on the ranges. Right above where we're standing, it killed some cattle that were caught in the fire, and they burned them up. The watershed.
That was a big problem.
It was a big problem. It absolutely took our culinary water out of Panguitch City. Actually had to drill a well.
And Panguitch has never had that, right? They've lived off a spring.
Exactly, but we had to drill a well because we didn't have a reliable water supply. And when it started to rain, and these rainstorms were, yeah, we got some heavy rain, but nothing abnormal, nothing more than what we usually get. The floodwaters was unbelievable. It run a black soot over the Highway 89 in the Severe River. I've got a meadow that was a third covered with just black, grimy soot and ash and trash. And it was like that down the Severe River. I mean, it was. It was like, really, what else can happen, you know? And I say that because something would.
Yeah. So
yeah, there was a lot of impact with the fire that you don't really think about when it's happening, but it is. It's kind of like the gift that keeps giving.
So have you been surprised at, I mean, what is your reaction now? Try and describe the landscape 5 years ago, right after the fire, and the landscape that we're looking at today.
I'll tell you what, Mother Nature is a remarkable thing. It actually looks pretty good. I think up here, as far as grasses and the type of feed that livestock and wildlife eat, as you can see when you go around, it's where there was just timber and not much grew, there's a lot of grasses come, which is, I think, is a good thing. So that's different. The thing that you don't see and in these burnt areas is I don't see any, and this is pretty much wherever I've been through this, if any, maybe a few, but are lumber-bearing type trees that used to be here. They're gone. So.
And there's no sign of them regenerating.
No. So I guess a few hundred years from now, maybe they'll be back, and you can come interview me then, and we'll talk about that. But
I want to be there for that interview. It'll be quite remarkable.
So that's a concern to me, that resource is gone.
Yeah. Well, in a minute we will talk about maybe what we could be doing better. But now that we've kind of got this update, we're going to turn our attention right now to our first story.
I'm Reece Stein at your leisure, not in Bryce Canyon. This is Utah's other red sandstone park. Plastered high against the western edge of the Colorado Plateau, Cedar Breaks National Monument lights up the forest.
And it's like really pretty colors and stuff. There's a lot of different like colors in the canyon. You got like green and like red. Pretty nice.
Just 22 miles up the canyon from Cedar City, but 5,000 feet higher and 20 degrees cooler, Cedar Breaks is the perfect summer getaway.
We drove up about 5,000 feet elevation from Cedar City, and all of a sudden you're in a plateau that's 10,000 feet in elevation, and you're out in an alpine region that is just absolutely fabulous.
A giant amphitheater 2,500 feet deep and 3 miles across is brilliantly painted in reds, yellows, and purples, a miniature Bryce Canyon with its own beauty. After years of wrangling with livestock and timber interests, President Franklin Roosevelt declared Cedar Breaks a national monument in 1933, protecting some 6,100 acres, roughly 1/6 the size of earlier proposals, mainly the non-commercial eroded cliffs and hoodoos and thin line of forest land along the plateau's 10,000-foot high rim.
I keep forgetting how beautiful it is out here. We come up every now and again, and the red rocks, the green trees.
Of the 10 miles of rim hikes, the Loop Trail to Alpine Pond is the most popular. The 2-mile round trip is level on top and easy walk, but after the snowy winter, the trail still features occasional obstacles even in late July, making the walk that much more challenging and fun. Shorter trails provide easy access from roadside parking lots to spectacular vistas.
Then you come to the overlook and you see the ground drop out of sight with the hoodoos, and you'd swear you're in Bryce Canyon.
Along the way, this 60-foot-tall pine is among the world's oldest trees. Some of these bristlecone pines have graced the rim for 1,600 years. Its unique branches covered in needles look like small foxtails. The park is also renowned for its spectacular displays of summer wildflowers, from fields of little sunflowers, clusters of aspen blueberries, delicate Colorado columbines, splashes of Indian paintbrush, and purple penstemon. Cedar Breaks features a small campground and covered picnic pavilion.
But my favorite part was probably the picnic that we had. Like most of the facilities were closed because they're just working on this area, but the picnic grounds were like really nice. And I don't know, sandwich was good.
The main viewpoint is closed for construction of a new visitor center that should be open next summer. But for now, a smaller contract station and gift shop suffices.
Cedar Breaks is kind of a little small hidden gem that we should all come see sometime.
Cedar Breaks is open year-round, though the access highway is groomed for snowmobilers and cross-country skiers in the winter. Reece Stein at your leisure along the way at Cedar Breaks National Monument.
Where do you start your day when there are endless opportunities to explore? In Richfield, we'll set you on the right track with the Paiute ATV Trail right on our doorstep. Head into the Tusher Mountains and taste the crisp mountain air. Explore desert landscapes that echo voices from the past. Richfield, the heart of Utah Trail Country.
Join us on AYL 24/7 with early access to commercial-free episodes, detailed trip itineraries, a look behind the scenes, group discussions and forums, profile and account customization, individual segments, and a nostalgic trip to classic episodes. We want our viewers to get the show they want to see when they want to see it. It's all the viewing you've grown to love and more. Sign up now at AYLTV.com.
Before you pack the car,
Before you plan the route,
Make sure your vacation
be the one you always dreamed of.
With a pre-trip visit to Tunex.
Locally owned,
regionally connected.
Tunex can get you on the road
and keep you there.
No matter where you travel in Utah.
From timing belts to oil changes,
transmission service or new brakes,
a towing upgrade or even a tune-up.
We have the certified technicians
to do the job right. There's a Tunex near you.
Find it at tunex.com.
This is what it sounds like when quality speaks for itself. The Honda Pioneer 1000 Deluxe Crew with class-leading comfort for 6. Tough, reliable, capable. Part of the 2023 Honda Pioneer lineup. Enough said.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure with Danny Perkins from Garfield County. We're touring, we're doing the anniversary tour of the Brian Head Fire.
So, yes, we are.
You brought up one thing during the commercial break that I wanted to clear up because I thought it was an important thing to say, and that is about wildlife. I mean, you were talking about all the things that changed the day of the fire, but that's one that a lot of people are surprised about.
Well, it affected the wildlife in a big way. This was fawning season for starters when this fire started. I don't remember the exact date, somewhere around the middle of June. And so up around the Panguitch Lake area, there was actually a thing on the news about one of the fawns, but we don't know how many fawns. A lot of fawns was burned up in this fire. But it's also the time of year the birds nest and the chipmunks have their young, and all these animals live in the trees. I witnessed not just the burnt cattle, as I mentioned earlier, but elk. I seen elk that was burned to death. Mm-hmm. I found deer that had been burned to death later after the fire. And there was also human life lost as a result of the fire. During the rehabilitation stuff that they were doing, a man was killed.
So let me ask a question. From your perspective, you've been around forests your whole life. You know ranching and forestry fairly well. What are we doing wrong? What could we do better so that this kind of catastrophe that wipes out water and livestock and wildlife and burns the forest and it takes 50 years for it to rehabilitate, what can we do better?
Well, bottom line is, Chad, we need to start looking at the way we are managing our forest. Fire's been used as a tool and still is. And there may be some places that it needs to be used. But there's also mechanical means to clean up these forests, and they need to be cleaned up or you're going to have mass fires like these. And they're having in Canada now. I mean, and we haven't even talked about the pollutants that are put in the air. But these big, huge fires have a lot of negative results.
So why do you think people have such a negative reaction to doing mechanical treatment to bring a forest into health?
I don't know. A lot of people think that the equipment's going to scar the earth. Well, look around you. You know, this earth has been scarred. And the mechanical treatment, they can do it in a manner that it doesn't scar the earth. It can be rehabbed where you won't even know that the equipment was there. A lot of the trees will be ground up and put back in the earth, which makes topsoil to grow more trees. And it's a much cleaner and more effective way to do it. And yes, you're going to burn diesel. The equipment burns diesel. But once again, you think about the tons and tons and tons of particulate matter that went up in our atmosphere as a result of just this fire.
Yeah.
And it's a no-brainer.
You could have 20 diesels working all summer and not seen a day where.
More than that. But we need to really look at the way we are managing our forest and start doing it a little bit different so this doesn't happen. Yes, we have a lot of feed. The forest will eventually regenerate itself, but at what price?
Well, there's a good question. And that's something for you to ponder. Right now, we're going to break away from here for this, and then we'll be back and we'll take a look at Panguitch Lake.
Stedman's. Ride hard, play hard.
Sometimes you just gotta play dirty, and dirt has been the Stedman's family playground for 50 years. Come jump on or into your new side-by-side, ATV or dirt bike, and make your own trail with Stedman's in Tooele, your dealer for sales, service, and accessories. Looking for road bikes or e-bikes? We have those too. Go online or come in today and see the Stedman's family and check out their incredible line from only the best: Yamaha, Honda, Polaris, and Beta.
You might think it's 300 miles out here, but remember, it's only 30 miles back.
At Your Leisure has a long-standing reputation and a large, loyal audience of adventurers in the outdoors. Although we're excited to continue to grow and enjoy the shared success of our longtime sponsors, we have space for more. And if you have a brand that would benefit from the 2 decades of goodwill that we've built, contact us at ayltv.com and let us amplify your voice above the competition.
When you're ready for adventure, fuel your machine with Clear 91. Fuel for performance, fuel for adventure, and fuel for the long haul. Ethanol-free, 91 octane. Fill up with Clear 91. Only available at Eagles Landing. With you for the long haul.
Hey AYL fans, it's time again for the Red, White, and Road 9/11 Memorial Ride, brought to you by AYL and Stedman's Recreation. Ride the most scenic road in the country, Highway 12. Lunch will be held at the beautiful Kodachrome Basin State Park, and a barbecue dinner will end the day back in Torrey. Sign up now at the AYLTV.com events page. Registration is limited to only 50 bikes, so sign up today, and we'll see you on the Red, White, and Road.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. We are looking back at the 6th-year anniversary of the fire, the Brian Head Fire, here at Panguitch Lake. This is the Panguitch Lake Resort, and it was amazingly one of the few places that was completely spared the fire. Now, it was close. The fire came in across the north end over here, the west end, came across the north end of the lake, and then it burned its way down to the lake and up that canyon. Unfortunately, that is the area where most of the homes and cabins were lost, is right as the fire moved up there. That and the ones that were lost over at Brian Head. So while wildlife, as we've already talked about, and cattle and water systems were affected by this fire, there's no damage that equals what the owners felt.
When we were told to evacuate, we've been here 22 years. So most people up here, they're weekenders. But it's like our whole life is here.
We lost quite a bit in the fire. We lost a shop with an apartment above it. We lost windows and siding on our main house and over 20 trees. And they're estimated to be 300 years old.
I mean, it was literally everything. I mean, we had just gotten a bunch of stuff that belonged to his dad. Family albums from his grandfather, things like that. To see 22 years in general be gone, yeah, it was heartbreaking.
As you can see, the yard's a mess, but them cardboard boxes remained untouched. Everything else got burnt, with the exception of our flagpole with the flags on it. They didn't get touched.
But the homes burned happened in that canyon, and they were a significant loss in comparison to the wildlife and the cattle and the watersheds and everything. And while those things were damaged, the lake level did come up dramatically, and the water that has come off the land has helped the lake. We have a close tie to this. Darren and Jill Kinder were hosting one of our episodes. They were right up on the ridge behind me. And while they were up on that hill on horseback, if I remember correctly, you could see the fire starting behind them over at Brian Head before it had even started to come this way. So we've always been very interested in what had happened here. But the recreation here is great, and this is a darling resort.
People really enjoy the lake. We also have cabins out here for rent, RV lots for rent. We have ATV trails, boat rentals. People like to enjoy the horseback riding at the resort. So it's a really nice, relaxing, peaceful place to get away from the city.
As for the cabins and homes, at this point they have all been reclaimed, restored, or rebuilt. And it makes a perfect gateway to a lot of backcountry exploration off the lake. You should come down and give it a try. There's a lot of things to see. Well, right now it's time for us to move on to our story. So let's check this out.
When life gets too busy and stressful, sometimes it's good to drive to a faraway place and let it all out on the track. For Seth Lloyd from the Layton, Utah 2Nex, finishing up a long week of work, getting up early in the morning to beat the summer heat and hitting the jumps. For Seth, there's always something new to learn while riding, or beating a new obstacle that might push you to your limits. The drive never ends in the dirt biking world. Seth has ridden in many places outside of Utah, but the outskirts of Tooele make for the perfect playground.
Been riding since I was 22 now, so it's kind of been my lifestyle ever since I could remember. It's pretty much what I do outside of work. You know, it's our fun time. It's just what we go out and do on weekends. And so my dad bought the business back, I think, in 2018 or 2019. And I'm just hooked. I love it. That's my cars. It's definitely frustrating at times, but you know, it's enjoyable. We make it fun. You know, it's not like you go to work, you don't feel like you're working. You know, you feel like you're having fun working. It's a totally different environment. Really, now that it's summer, it's lighter later, so we usually get off around 6, and like we'll try to hit the track, you know, like on my way home for work for a couple hours. So I usually can go like 1 or 2 times a week if I'm feeling lucky, or usually we go every Saturday night to Sunday. So it still gives me plenty of time, you know. I still enjoy it. It's good, enough time to not go insane from working.
The state of Utah has many hidden riding opportunities. Driving past Tooele will bring you to Dell, Utah. This area is filled with trails and jumps, some natural and not natural. There you will find other riders and make great connections. However, it's always good to have someone with you while out riding. You never know when the day will take an unexpected turn.
One of our buddies broke his ankle the first 5 minutes we were riding, but he's a tough boy. I know he'll hold out. He'll be back in no time. I would recommend it. Like if you're learning how to ride or like wanting to learn how to ride, this is definitely the place you can do it, because it's just a desert vibe. Like you can just go, you have all sorts of terrain you want, so you can learn everything out here.
Some may wonder what the drive is to hop on a machine and fly at mid-air. While some are in it to win races, others are about getting together with your friends and helping each other breed confidence, and leaving better than when you started. A lot of riders share the same sentiment. You try it once, and the next thing you know, you're hooked for life.
Honestly, if you like a good group of people and you're all just doing this stuff, it's definitely my favorite thing. If you have a good group of people that just ride and they're just a good support team, you know, there's just a good group of people around you is definitely my favorite thing about it when you're doing it. Like the whole race scene, it's like, yeah, off the track, like you're just pretending like, oh, he's my buddy. But you know, as soon as you're on the track, if he's in second, you're in third, you're gonna get in second no matter what. But I just enjoyed this way more. So it's just, your personality to me is everything. If you can show your personality on 2 wheels, then that's way more important than going circles around the track.
With At Your Leisure in Dell, Utah, I'm Ryan Sprague.
The first thing you notice is the colors. Blue sky contrasting against red horizon. Blending Utah. The world goes on forever out here. There's nothing stopping you. In Blanding, you can ride right from downtown on Recapture Rim Trail, discovering the heritage of the West without limits or boundaries. Don't be held back. Join us in a land of true freedom. Blanding, more to be explored.
Wondering where your next OHV adventure will take you? Outsiders Utah has your answer with downloadable GPS routes, ride times, distance, local amenities, and other details. 360 street views of the trails that let you explore before you go, and more. Eliminate the guesswork and uncertainty and find a trail you'll love. Visit outsidersutah.com and see the trail before you ride the trail.
There's no time for small talk. So let's cut to the chase. Your chase. To turn your to-do list to dust and jobs into accomplishments. But this means you gotta go big. Big hauls and bigger tows. To get it done early enough for some big adventure. Because doing it all with time to spare is no small feat.
Places like the San Rafael Swell are famous for a reason. Endless riding opportunities, history that reaches back millennia. Sites you never knew existed. All it needs is one central location where you can easily visit it all. That place is Farron, Utah. Sleep comfortably, dine in, and ride directly from your hotel or campsite. Experience the San Rafael Swell. Experience Farron.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure, finishing up a day looking around Panguitch Lake at the riding opportunities and what it looks like 6 years after the Bryan Head fire. Now, if you'd like to come down to this area, Panguitch is located on US 89. It's between Richfield and Kanab, and you can find your way there. Now, if you want to go around to Panguitch Lake, that's off of Highway 143, which goes south out of Panguitch and up to the lake. Go around the lake and you can find the canyon that we rode. We'll have some details on how you can get a downloadable map of our area in just a minute. Right now, let's take a look at next week's show.
Next week, Brianne and Jared Johnson are taking their kids out for a fun-filled day of games, competition, and mud at the Paiute Jamboree in Marysville, Utah. Then, Mark Yardley and I are invading Katie's kitchen as we got a recipe that was made for the boys. Join us as we're making Rosemary's Yardley beef tips. And finally, we're meeting up with some of the guys from UTV Utah at a unique new event that is bringing hundreds of buyers and sellers together for a UTV parts and machine swap meet. Now, let's take a look at the upcoming calendar of events. First up on September 9th in Torrey, Utah, is AYL and Stedman's Recreation annual Red, White, and Road motorcycle ride. Scott Huntsman will be leading the tour this year, and registration is limited to 50 bikes, so sign up now before it's too late. Then, September 13th through the 16th is the San Juan ATV Safari in Monticello, Utah. This spectacular OHV destination features 18 map trails with beauty and history that is unparalleled on any OHV trail. Now, let's take a look at our contest winner. This week's contest winner was submitted to us on social media by Colby Allen, and it looks like Colby is the lucky winner of an outdoor stove from Camp Chef. Camp Chef offers the best way to get your cooking done in the outdoors. Visit campchef.com for more information. Congratulations, Colby, and be sure to call us on Monday at 801-947-8888 to claim your prize.
Okay. Well, that's all the time we have for the show today. Thanks for coming along with us. If you would like to get a downloadable GPX file of our trip today for Gaia, you can go to our website and look on this show. Go to YouTube, look for the conversation below this episode, and there it will be. You can link to it, download it, and have it for your own use. Well, like we say every week, just like that guy's doing, there's adventure around every bend. You just got to get out there, create your own adventure at your leisure. I'm going to my next one.